in der Heimen basimches in Wiener.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. Today we'll discuss our halacha on this week's Parshah, Parshas Vayigash. After the whole story with Yosef and his brothers, the pasuk in Kapitel Perik Memhei says, "V'layachol Yosef l'sapik l'chol anitzavim olav." Yosef couldn't hold it back anymore. Vayikra, and he called and he said, "Hotziu kol ish me'alai." Everybody get out. And as the Meforshim say, the Ramban, the Rechaim HaKadosh, that actually Yosef, angry tone, tell everybody to get out right away, because he felt that eventually it's going to get embarrassing for his brothers when he introduces himself to them, and they'll feel embarrassed what they did. He didn't want to hurt them in any way, shape, or form, so he said, everybody get out. And you look in the Meforshim, they say that the Mitzrayim were actually leaning over by the door to hear what's going on. And the pasuk says, of course, Vayitin eskayle b'pchi, and they started crying as Yosef introduced himself. Vayomer Yosef el ach echav, and it's only Yosef and his brothers there. Yosef says to his brothers, Ani Yosef ha'oid avichai, I am Yosef, your brother. Is my father still alive? And the brothers couldn't answer. They couldn't answer. They were shocked. The Das Genim Bala puts it like this. They say when he introduced himself, they believe in what they hear what he's saying, they believe him, and they don't believe him. They believe him. He introduced himself. He says, I am Yosef. The Maminim, they still are under shock and they don't believe it, because L'sha'avar le'eved nimker Yosef, and we saw how he was sold as a slave. And now look what he has. He's a Mishnah L'melech Mitzrayim. They were in a shock. Maminim ve'ena maminim, and as Yosef introduces himself, he has to convince them it's him. So there's different Mefarshim. Rashi says he showed them how he has a bris milah, and only then they trusted him. Other Svarim say he actually showed them a library full of Svarim to show him that he kept on studying Torah. He introduces himself with his name, Yosef. Don't get caught on to the fact that they might be calling me some other name here in Egypt, in Mitzrayim, but it's Yosef that kept me going. My tzitkus, as how I was as a youngster, is still around. But Yosef was very careful in how and in the way he introduced himself to his brothers. As the Rabbeinu B'chaye says from the Medrash, he says, Amar Shmuel bar Nachmani, B'tzara Gedola hevi Yosef nafshe b'Yosef Shah. When Yosef told his brothers to leave, as he was going to introduce himself, he put himself in a big danger. Shelumalei haragu, if one of the brothers didn't believe him and would have killed him, there was nobody there to save him. There was nobody there that would claim and have any problems with what they did, because who, what, when, where. So why did he put himself in that state of sakanas nefashos? Why did he ask for everybody to leave? Says the Medrash, Amar Yosef said to himself, made this calculation. Mutav she'ahorei. It's better that I will get killed if one of my brothers will kill me, not thinking, not trusting what I'm saying. I'm willing to go on Mesiras Nefesh to get killed. V'lei albim pneim barabim, and to save them from embarrassment. If the people would be inside when I tell them that I'm Yosef, and they'll be hurt and they'll be embarrassed. Halbanas pnei chaver barabim, and his brothers barabim is greater ad kedei Mesiras Nefesh. That's one very important point. But then there is the classical question. When Yosef introduces himself, he says, Ani Yosef ha'oid avichai. What do you mean ha'oid avichai? The whole dialogue between him and the brothers about keeping Binyamin, not keeping Binyamin, they keep on saying over and over again that it'll be hurtful for Yaakov to have an old father. And suddenly Yosef is ignoring everything he was told and asks again, Ha'oid avichai. So I want to share with you a shot that the Beis HaLevi has and on this dialogue between Yosef and his brothers, which is an amazing pirush. First, he begins by bringing the Medrash. The Medrash says, Amar Arba Kohen Bardala. Based on this event, how the brothers were shocked and they were embarrassed of what took place. They're embarrassed what they did to their brother Yosef. So the Chazal tell us, Oy lanu miyoyim hadin, oy lanu miyoyim hateichacha. They is to us, when you think about the day of judgment after 120, they is to us when you think about the yoyim hateichacha. If the brothers were shocked, and they stumped, they couldn't open their mouth for what Yosef told them, Ani Yosef ha'od avichai. How much will it be, Rahman al-Atzlan, if somebody didn't do right after 120, and they show him your life video of how your hanhagas were during your lifetime? What are you going to say then? That is what the Medrash says. And the Beis HaLevi asks a couple of questions on this statement. But the simple question is, what is the difference between Yoim Hadin and Yoim HaTeichacha? Now, the truth is, by Yosef, it was a different shock. It was a shock that, here's our brother. And Yoim Hadin and Yoim HaTeichacha is a shock, is a bush of how you behaved. It's not exactly a good comparison. So he's mechadash a beautiful pshat. He says that when Yosef says, Ani Yosef avichai, he wasn't asking if my father is still alive. He knows he's still alive. He was still giving them musar. He was telling them, you're telling me all along that I can't keep Binyamin because it will be hurtful for the old father, Yaakov. What are you telling me? And when you sold me as an Eved, it wasn't hurtful? How is my father able to still be alive with the Tsar and the Yogin Rahman al-Atzlan, knowing that his son Yosef is not around? He doesn't know where he is. If it was it didn't bother you doing it to me, Yosef, and yet Avichai, what are you telling me terutzim about Binyamin? So he was basically lacing it into them, telling them that their dialogue, the discussion of why it'll be hurtful for Binyamin to stay doesn't really matter on their way of behavior. And that's why the starting point, he's still rough with them, and eventually it becomes much smoother. And this is the comparison to La'asad Lavai, after 120. Says the Beis HaLevi, there's Yoim Hadin, there's Yoim HaTeichacha. What is the Yoim Hadin? After 120, he uses a beautiful example. And the person that comes to Shemayim, they say, why didn't you give tzedakah? So he says, Bezdin, I didn't have that amount of money to be able to splurge and give a lot of money to tzedakah. I don't have it. So, fine. It's a good enough teretz, right? If you don't have parnasa berevach, you can give tzedakah berevach. But then they come to him with a heichacha, and they say to him, you didn't have parnasa berachava, so you couldn't give tzedakah? How about the luxury life, or the other things that you did spend luxurious, and for that you did find the money? So why is it that for things that seem to be not important, you find to manage, whereas for the mitzvah of tzedakah you didn't? And that is teichacha, the musar, how they end the Mulmayla is sort of what Yosef did here. He says, Yoim Hadin, this is a time of judgment, let me tell you what you did wrong. You are telling me that I cannot keep Binyamin, and how is it that when it came to my life, you didn't have that cheshbon? So a person always has to have this state in mind, and as the Rebbe writes in many places, that you have to train yourself how to talk positive about other people, because after 120 they will ask you about other person, and you are actually making the din upon yourself. And the Eibusha should help that it should all be bechesed of Rachman. And please join us again next week.